The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Pooh Shiesty just got raided after violating his release terms, and this all went down barely 3 months after he touched back down following his big first day out celebration. This Memphis rapper was moving wild, way too loose, and that reckless energy is exactly what got his freedom snatched right back up. The wild part is how calculated this really was. The feds weren't feeling him at all, especially after he threw shots their way on his first day out track, a song that's already passed 25 million views. That record put a spotlight on him, and once that happened, they stayed watching every single move until they had their moment to strike. What really brought him down isn't some crazy mystery either. It's actually more predictable than people want to admit, and we're about to break down step by step how he completely fumbled the opportunity most people would kill for. Pooh Shiesty was supposed to be walking a straight line on his second chance, but instead, federal agents ran up in his place and slapped him with parole violations. This didn't come out of nowhere either. From day one, he was moving like freedom was optional, and that's when things started getting real spicy. For anyone who missed it, Pooh Shiesty came home after serving just under 5 years of what was originally an 8-year sentence. The feds wanted 20 years at first, but his legal team played it smart and cut that time down, letting him come home early. And that early release made everything even more fragile. Federal parole means you're walking on thin ice every single day. No room for slip-ups at all. When Pooh Shiesty first came home, he was supposed to be locked in and moving careful, because federal parole is serious business. Curfews, constant check-ins, and a long list of rules that can shut everything down fast if you play with them. But instead, he was moving like nobody was watching. One moment that really had people shocked was when he popped up on Ben, the Don Stream, and his parole officer straight up called him asking where he was. That alone was a wild situation to be in, especially live. Here's where it got even crazier. He was supposed to be home for curfew, but he was still outside past his time. And to make it worse, he lied to his parole officer while the camera was rolling. Ben instantly muted the mic because he knew that was a dangerous move caught in real time, and that wasn't a one-off mistake.
Hello?
Yeah,
Latrell Williams, yeah, I'm at the house.
Yeah, keep it
All right.
Just go, kid.
Go make it right. Oh,
No.
you said what? Yes, I am. Yes, I am, man. Check it again. That's where I live at. That's where I live at. Refresh it. That's where I live at. Look. I ain't lying to you. I ain't playing no game.
You can mute the joint right now,
my
Trey.
face. I don't play like that.
Pooh Shiesty had been moving untouchable since day one, posting online, flashing jewelry, cars, and still talking street, like he wasn't technically still under federal supervision every single day. But this is where the story cuts way deeper than just missing curfew. Pooh Shiesty, low-key been telling on himself through his own music, putting real-life details right in the lyrics like it's nothing. He even said it himself, in a bar, out on paper, with a fully ARP sitting on my counter now. And in the streets, people know he's not the type to just say stuff for fun. When he speaks in his bars, that's usually his real situation, not some made-up image. For anyone who doesn't catch the meaning, an ARP is a fully automatic weapon. And that's something a federal parolee absolutely cannot be anywhere near. No excuses at all. Now here's where things get even more serious. As part of his release terms, he wasn't even fully free yet because he was staying in a halfway house. That's a transitional spot federal inmates have to live in after early release, not their personal crib. You're required to sleep there every night, follow strict rules, and slowly earn more freedom over time. It's meant to help people adjust back to regular life, but you're still under tight federal supervision the whole way. In a halfway house, curfews are mandatory. Permissions are required for travel and work, and you can't just link up with whoever you want. You're not allowed around other felons or gang members at all. The whole system is designed to watch your every move closely, and that's where federal supervision starts turning into a real trap. They don't play around at all. State parole might give a little breathing room, but federal parole officers stay locked in on every single move you make. They can search your place whenever they want, hit you with random drug tests. And if you slip up even a little, you're right back inside finishing that sentence. For someone like Pooh Shiesty, who's known as the leader of Chopper Gang, the pressure was always going to be heavier. Federal supervision hits different when they think you're tied to a bigger circle, because they don't just watch one person, they watch the whole network. When you're labeled as the head of something like Chopper Gang, every link up, every move, and every associate gets tracked closely. That spotlight never turns off, and that's where things started getting messy. Now let's rewind to how Pooh Shiesty even ended up in this position to begin with. This wasn't his first run-in with the law, and his past shows a clear pattern. Back in 2020, he got caught up in serious street-related incidents that pulled federal attention his way. The main case involved a robbery after meeting up with someone, and during that situation, shots were fired, which took the case to another level entirely.
Now, in just one station, surveillance cameras showing a new view of a violent shootout in a parking lot of a South Florida apartment building. The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail.
According to court documents, this wasn't some random situation.
And it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Island says you're wanted. With
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest.
It was something the feds had already been building on for a while. This situation was part of a bigger pattern the feds had already been watching closely, and it didn't stop with just one case. There was also another incident tied to him where things allegedly spiraled after money went missing and shots were fired at a club during the chaos. In that moment, a security guard ended up getting hurt while simply trying to do his job and keep order.
Popular rapper arrested. He's accused of shooting a security guard at a South Florida gentleman's club and will remain behind bars. A judge denied bond for 21-year-old Lontrell Williams.
That's when everything crossed a serious line, because situations like that don't just affect the people involved. They put innocent workers in danger too. Real talk, when someone moves reckless in the streets, the fallout spreads fast. It's not just about reputation or consequences anymore. It's about real people caught in the middle of bad decisions. Federal prosecutors stacked their case using multiple incidents, including armed robbery, assault involving a weapon, and conspiracy-related charges. They painted a picture of Pooh Shiesty as someone who leaned toward violence early, instead of treating it as a last option. The government argued he was a risk to the community and pushed hard for the full 20-year sentence they originally wanted. His defense team fought back, saying he was still young, had real potential as an artist, and could be rehabilitated instead of being written off completely. They managed to get the sentence knocked down to 8 years, which was still heavy time, but way better than the 20 years he was staring at before. When Pooh Shiesty finally came home, everything was lined up perfectly for him to win big. His first day out song was going crazy, pulling serious numbers and ringing bells everywhere. He was picking up plaques, hopping in foreign whips, and rumors had him linked with India Love too. So the spotlight was fully on him. He really had a chance to build something legit and turn that momentum into a real empire. That first day out track wasn't just music, it was a loud message telling the world he was back, focused, and ready to run the rap game. For a moment, it looked like he was about to be one of those comeback stories everyone loves. The artist who learned from his mistakes and flipped a second chance into something solid. But behind the scenes, the streets were saying something different. People close to him whispered that he never fully dropped that street mindset. He stayed around the same crowd, kept talking the same talk, and moved like nothing could touch him. That's where federal parole becomes dangerous. They watch everything, from social media posts to music videos, who you're with, and where you're going. When you're on supervised release, rapping about automatic weapons isn't just art anymore. It's a red flag waving right in their face. That right there became straight up evidence, and the real shock came from how Ben the Don first broke the news live on his stream. Ben got a phone call mid-broadcast about the raid, and you could hear the surprise hit his voice when he realized they took everything and cleared the place out completely. At first, Ben tried to play it cool and keep things low-key, but that didn't last long. The clip spread fast, and the streets were already buzzing heavy once it went viral. In the clip, you can hear Ben telling the caller, "You remember that bet when Buddy had this right here and I told you he going to jail, he's going back."
Remember that bet when Buddy had this right here? And I told you, I was like, he going to jail?
Yeah.
He's going back.
The way he said it made one thing clear. This wasn't told. People close to Shiesty's situation weren't shocked at all. They saw this coming from a mile away. But here's where things get tricky. Later on, Ben jumped on Twitter trying to clear the air, saying, "I understand y'all gotta get y'all money, but that's cap. It had nothing to do with that call. Whether he was trying to deflect attention or protect his guy, nobody really knows. And that uncertainty only made the situation feel even messier. But once the dust settled, the facts came out anyway. And it was clear this raid wasn't random at all. Federal agents don't just pop up out of nowhere like that. They plan for weeks, sometimes months, stacking evidence quietly before making their move when everything lines up. From what's known, they pulled up to his spot, found exactly what they were looking for, and took him straight into custody without wasting time. Right after that, the blogs went crazy, all posting the same headline about Pooh Shiesty being locked back up again. DJ Academics later confirmed it by pulling up the federal prison records. The paperwork showed his real name, Rel Donnell Williams, Jr., along with his register number and a new release date listed as April 11, 2026. That date hit different because it was the same release date he originally had before getting out early on parole. And this situation goes way deeper than just one slip-up. This points to a pattern that shows he never truly locked in on that second chance. Ever since he came home, the street's been whispering about how he was moving, and none of it looks solid. For anyone who doesn't really understand how federal parole works, this is where things start getting serious, because early release comes with heavy strings attached and zero room for mistakes. Even though Pooh Shiesty was out of prison, he was still technically serving his sentence, just out in the community instead of behind bars. That means strict conditions every single day. Curfews, constant check-ins, no weapons, no linking up with known felons, and absolutely no criminal activity. Break any of these rules and it's right back to finish the original time. The fact that his new release date is listed as April 11, 2026, which matches his original release, makes it clear this is a parole violation, not brand new charges. If it were new crimes, he'd be stacking additional time on top of the original sentence. Instead, the feds are just making him finish out the rest of that 8-year stretch. Now, the real question is, what set off the raid in the first place? Was it the lyrics bragging about weapons, staying out past curfew, hanging with other gang members? Or did they discover something during a routine check? Looking at the timeline and how precise the raid went down, it seems like the feds had been quietly building a case for his violation for a long time. They probably had evidence stacked for multiple violations. Between the curfew slip-up on Bend Stream, lyrics talking about weapons, and possible surveillance catching him with prohibited associates, it's clear this wasn't just a single mistake. But this story goes beyond one rapper. It's part of a bigger cycle that keeps pulling young black men back into the system. When you grow up in the streets, it's almost impossible to fully disconnect from that life, especially when it's the very thing that made you famous. The music industry doesn't make it any easier either. Labels thrive on that authentic street credibility. Fans want the raw stories, and social media rewards the wildest, most shocking moves. Artists get caught in the struggle between staying true to the life that built their fame and trying to survive long enough to actually enjoy it. For Pooh Shiesty, his entire brand was rooted in being that street dude. Chopper gang, gun talk, robbery stories. It's what made him hot in the first place. But federal supervision changes the game completely. You can't live the same way anymore. You have to evolve your artistry without breaking your parole rules. And the tragedy goes deeper. The ripple effect hits the community and fans. Young people look up to these artists, and when they see someone get a second chance and mess it up, it sends a harsh message that maybe real change isn't possible after all. Pooh Shiesty had a real chance to show kids in Memphis and beyond that you can come from the streets, make mistakes, pay your dues, and still build something legit. Instead, he ended up becoming a cautionary tale, an example of what not to do. The financial fallout is massive too. Streaming revenue, show money, endorsements, all that dries up when you're locked back up. His team, his family, everyone counting on him now gets left in limbo while he serves out the rest of his sentence. And don't forget the legal costs. Federal cases don't come cheap. His family likely spent hundreds of thousands just to reduce his sentence the first time. And now they could be looking at doing it all over again if he faces new charges or wants to appeal his violation. The record label side is messy as well. Labels invest expecting a return, and when an artist gets locked up, especially for a parole violation, that money is at risk. Some labels drop artists immediately, while others put projects on pause, leaving everything hanging. The real tragedy? This whole situation was 100% avoidable. He just had to follow some basic rules. Stay home when required, avoid weapons, don't rap about illegal activities under supervision, and steer clear of known criminals. Doing that could have kept him free. and on track to build his empire. These were simple moves that could have kept Pooh Shiesty free to grow his career and stack his wealth. Just think about what he could have done with even 3 more years out in the world. He could have dropped multiple projects, built his own label, invested in legit businesses, and really cemented himself as a major force in hip-hop. Instead, he's going to be sitting behind bars while other artists grab the spotlight he worked so hard to claim. Halfway houses are supposed to help with this kind of transition, but the reality is they're often overcrowded, understaffed, and placed in neighborhoods full of the same street influences that caused problems in the first place. For someone like Pooh Shiesty, with fame and money, the halfway house environment probably didn't give him the guidance or structure he actually needed. The federal parole system isn't built to nurture success. It's designed to punish. Instead of helping people make it, it often sets them up to fail with rules that are tough to follow and consequences that hit hard when even a small misstep happens. One slip up can land you back in prison, even if you haven't committed any new crimes. At the same time, those rules exist for a reason. Federal supervision is meant to protect the community while giving people a chance to prove they've changed. But when someone keeps breaking those rules, especially a person with a violent conviction, the system has to step in and respond. So what's next for Pooh Shiesty? He's scheduled to be released on April 11, 2026, assuming he doesn't catch any new charges while locked up. That's about 15 months to reflect on his choices and hopefully plan a smarter comeback. The hip-hop game will look completely different when he gets out. New artists will have risen, the sound will have evolved, and all the momentum he built could be gone. Starting over in music is tough when you're young and unknown, but trying to reclaim a spot after serving more time with multiple arrests on your record is an entirely different challenge. His legal team may attempt to appeal this violation or push for early release again, but this time, the fight will be much steeper and the stakes are higher than ever. Judges don't like seeing people waste second chances, and prosecutors will push hard to show that he can't be trusted in the community. Right now, the smartest move Pooh Shiesty can make is to use this time productively. Write music, read books, work on educational programs, maybe even get a GED, anything that shows he's actually trying to improve himself. When he gets out, he'll need to prove he's truly changed, not just talk about it. The big question is what happens when he steps out in April 2026. Has he learned his lesson, or will we be having this exact same conversation all over again? The hip-hop community is watching closely, and other artists in similar positions should be paying attention. This story isn't just about Pooh Shiesty. It's about the decisions we make when second chances come our way, the influence of the environment around us, and how hard it is to break cycles when the same pressures keep pulling you back. For young people watching, the lesson is loud and clear. When an opportunity to change your life shows up, take it seriously. Don't let pride, peer pressure, or image come between you and your freedom. Success means nothing if you can't even enjoy it. For other artists, this should be a serious wake-up call. Federal supervision isn't a game. The rules might feel unfair, but breaking them will cost you everything. Pooh Shiesty could have avoided all of this by staying focused on his music and following the simple terms of his early release. Instead, he moved like the feds weren't watching, and now he's back behind bars, serving out the rest of his original sentence. The saddest part? Pooh Shiesty had everything he needed to succeed: talent, opportunity, money, and people who truly believed in him. But none of that matters if you can't make the right moves when it counts. So, what do you think about his situation and his future in hip-hop? Will he really change when he gets out? Or is this just the start of a longer cycle repeating itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure you subscribe to Rap Uncovered and turn those notifications on. The streets never sleep, and we're just getting started. There are way more stories to uncover. We drop heat every single day, and tomorrow's upload is going to be even crazier, even deeper, and absolutely unmissable. Smash that like button, share this video with all your homeboys, and let us know what you think about Pooh Shiesty's rise and fall. This is a lesson for anyone on parole or probation. Freedom is a privilege, not a right. Don't fumble the bag over street credibility that could cost you years behind bars. Stay focused, stay free, and let your success speak louder than your past. The streets will always be there, but chances like the one Pooh Shiesty had don't come often. When a second chance shows up, grab it with both hands. Once it's gone, it might not come back. We'll catch you in the next one, right here at Rap Uncovered, where the truth of the streets lives. Keep it 100, stay out of trouble, and remember, the streets are always watching, and so are the feds. Don't give them a reason to come for you.